Obviously, there have been a lot of strong reactions to the Tennessee legislature deciding that since they figured out that they can kick out Democrats for no reason whatsoever, they're just going to start doing it. So we have President Joe Biden saying today's expulsion of lawmakers who engaged in peaceful protest is shocking, undemocratic, and without precedent. Rather than debating the merits of the issue, these Republican lawmakers have chosen to punish, silence, and expel duly elected representatives of the people of Tennessee. That is exactly what they did. Maybe there's something more that you could do than just comment on it. I don't know. I would love to see something. Why doesn't Biden go to Tennessee? Why don't Democratic leaders go and camp out in Tennessee? It is, after all, the beginning of a presidential election. Maybe reminding people that the Republican Party long ago turned against democracy, also is viciously targeting people of color for political annihilation. Maybe those wouldn't be a bad thing to remind people of. But Barack Obama also tweeted, "This nation was built on peaceful protests. No elected official should lose their job simply for raising their voice, especially when they're doing it on behalf of our children." I agree. And AOC said Republicans may think they won today in Tennessee, but their fascism is only further radicalizing and awakening an earthquake of young people, both in the South and across the nation. If you thought youth organizing was strong, just wait for what's coming. Gen Z don't play. Yeah, remember, the entire thing started, not entirely, but largely based off of young activists not willing to accept the status quo on needless daily massacres. We know more than 70% of young voters voted for a Democrat in the last election. What does the Republican Party think they're doing with all of these moves? They think that this is helping them long term. Then not only did they, it's easy to point out, of course, that the two representatives that were eliminated were people of color. They were also incredibly young. It's amazing that they were in those positions to begin with. So you are telling young people that if they overcome all of the amazing hurdles to entering government, then old angry fascists will just kick them out. I don't know, maybe that's a win for the Republican Party long term. Doesn't seem like it to me. What do you think?
I think it's absolutely fascinating. It's thoroughly fantastic. That like, I mean, maybe you're just maybe I'm reading it wrong. Maybe instead of a bullhorn, they brought a bull into the Capitol. Is all I could think of, like an actual bull with horns trying to hurt people. It's wildly disproportionate to the things that they were doing, and also all these comparisons to like January 6th. It's, yeah, as you point out, it's like a very weird contortion of selective memory to try to make comparisons. One is like it was not part of the procedure they were trying to stop was one of democracy, and it was based on utter falsehoods and lies. Meanwhile, like you can name the dead people that were slain. That those are real things that happened. And I think this should be amplified. Like what they did is they took a bullhorn to what they're actually doing. If no one spoke up about this, if the Tennessee state legislature was like, all right, fine, they're supposed to play by the normal playbook. Don't they understand? Didn't they get it? As someone who I'm still trying to get these Republican, I'm trying to act as a Republican consultant and come to me for advice if you want any. But the playbook is you're supposed to say thoughts and prayers after a killing, and then you're supposed to just wait. And you're supposed to do nothing. You're not supposed to kick people out of the legislature, because all that does, as AOC point out, is embolden more people to point out how horrible you're being. Yeah. And it's this weird flex, this weird Republican flex that think they can get away with it. And it's actually incumbent upon us to go buy more bullhorns and spotlights and make this so that everybody knows what they're doing and how. Now the headwind that we face is that the gerrymandered districts have made it so that those levers of power are so entrenched, and because no matter how much you vote, it's very hard to change the makeup of the state legislature. That's why you need to get involved in organizations that actually try to put nonpartisan, anti-gerrymandered rules in place so that state legislatures don't look like Tennessee's does, where they have a much larger proportion of representation in the House of Republicans than they do a proportion of the popular vote.
Yeah, 100%. Looking forward really fast, we're gonna close on this. The Tennessee Democratic Party has already begun fundraising to support the two expelled members in special elections. And according to the Tennessee state constitution, they cannot be expelled a second time for the same reason. So that is going to be mildly inconvenient to the Republicans. They're gonna have to come up with another absolutely transparent cover story for why they're taking out these representatives. If you would like to support these efforts, Chris Murphy had tweeted out an Act Blue link where you can donate to the re-election efforts for the two representatives, and obviously the two representatives as well. Justin Pearson had tweeted it out. So that is available. I would love to see them get all of the money and more that they need to crush their opponents in the special election. And then when they get back in, to be like twice as emboldened, twice as aggressive in representing their constituents. I think like we can debate like the wider political significance of all this, the effects of it. But I think the takeaway is that many people on the national stage have now been exposed to two awesome young leaders who are amazing public speakers, great at representing their passionate supporters. They're now, by the way, on social media 1,000 times more significant than they were. The Republican Party has likely created two future national leaders. But stay tuned to find out.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.